This will be another story about prostitutes. After the first one, I don't really remember which order any of them are, so I'll just pick as I remember them. So, this one was actually in the same place as the first one, and it's in New York City. It's no longer there, but it was very convenient to get to. And since I went there the first time and everything went pretty much okay, no cops or anything like that, no diseases, I felt safe. And I saw new pictures of new girls that I was interested in, so I went. I don't remember the day or the time or anything like that, but I do remember that that specific time there was a mama san. So that a mama san is usually the older lady that works there, and she picks up the phone, she does the appointments, she might cook for the girls. She's the one really that's running everything behind the scenes. So the girls have their jobs to do, and the mama san is there, and she does her role. Now, the first time that I went to this place, there was no mama san, and this time there was. So I was able to set up the appointment, same thing as usual. When I got there, I gave them a call, same shitty elevator, same shitty building. And when she opened the door this time, I asked her who was available because I didn't come in with anybody specifically in mind. I wanted to check out the lineup. She told me that there were two girls available, and she led me to a small room so that the two girls could come in one at a time, and then I would eventually pick one. So the first one came in, and she told me her name was Monica. And I remember her because she was eventually the one I picked. Now, she wasn't really my type. She had short hair. She looked a little bit older, probably 35, 40, something like that. But she was pretty and she had a nice body. The other one, I don't remember what she looked like. I mean, there were probably a couple of reasons why I didn't pick her. She might have been fat, she might have been ugly. I have no idea. Anyway, there were only two girls there available, so I picked Monica out of the lineup. And it was a little bit awkward because after I saw the first girl, then I saw the second girl, and then they both came at the same time. And the mama san said, okay, well, who are you going to pick? And so I chose Monica, which is a little bit weird when you're put in that position where you pick out a girl and then the other one is right there to see the rejection. So anyway, same process as last time. She led me by the hand to the room, very dimly lit room. It was comfortable temperature wise. She told me to take off my clothes, put on the robe, the slippers, and get ready for the table shower, which now, because I knew the process, I was expecting and I was looking forward to it. So I did that. I put on the robe, everything. She came knocking on the door, asked if I was ready. I was. And she led me to the same bathroom or whatever you want to call it, shower room. All the same things, check the temperature. Now, I don't remember if she did anything specifically different or nuanced. For all I remember, it was a pretty much standard shower, and then her asking me the same questions: name, occupation, etc., etc. So during that period, I guess I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't remember hating it or anything, but it wasn't really memorable. So we went back to the room. I went again on my stomach on the massage table, and she asked me what I wanted. Same firm massage, but it wasn't great. But who goes for the massage? So I'm there. She tells me, is it okay, etc., asking me more and more questions and just doing small talk. Then I started to get a little bit more adventurous. So, during the first time, I wasn't really sure if this was the kind of place I thought it was, but during the second time, I knew it was. So then as she was giving me the massage on the back, I was just rubbing her leg, touching her ass, whatever I could grab. But being on my stomach, my face into a massage table is pretty hard to see or guide your hand to do anything. So this time around, I didn't want to have sex. After the first time, I think the first time was kind of like a craze for me where I wasn't really expecting to. I really was going in to just get a hand job, but then I was just so horned up that I just said, fuck it, I'm just gonna have sex with this girl. So this time I just wanted a hand job. So when the flip happened after the teasing, etc., she asked me what I wanted. I told her that I wanted a hand job. She said, all right. And I remember it was pretty cheap. It was probably one of the most cheapest that I've ever paid for, but it might have been one of the greatest just because I remember Monica specifically, short hair, like I said, a little bit older, still great body, but her attitude was just amazing. She was very, very happy. She looked like she was enjoying it. And you could say whatever you want about going to prostitutes, whatever. You could say that it's all an act or whatever. But if you've been, just like if you go to a McDonald's and there's a shitty cashier, you'll be able to tell the difference between somebody who's actually hates their job, is okay with their job, wants to do a good job, and who's actually happy to be there. And you'll run through the same gamut, I guess, in any profession. And this was no different. So she looked like she had a pretty good attitude. Maybe she's just a happy person. I don't know. Pretty positive. And that was the most memorable part about that experience was that, we start off, I get flipped. I tell her I want a hand job, etc. So then she starts going to town. She starts lubing her hand. She lubes my dick. She starts jerking me off. And she's taking her time. So she's not, just as usual as a man, I would just go super hard, super fast, and just try to come as soon as possible. So this is one of the first times where I really was able to appreciate just a slow, gradual buildup to coming. Because for me, it had never been about that. It had just been about the come and not about the journey. So you could learn, from anywhere. You could take philosophy from anywhere. So then as this girl is doing that, she's jerking me off. I'm playing with her tits. I asked her to take them off, which was originally not part of the payment. She was going to keep her clothes fully on. She wasn't going to take out anything, show me anything. But I don't know, I guess she was feeling generous, so she did that. And she took out her tits, which were pretty nice, probably around B cup, dark nipples. But still very nice. So I was groping her, whatever, touching her. And then I remember that she had a really nice ass as well. So I lifted up her dress a little bit. I started groping her ass, grabbing her ass. And then eventually I started to slap her ass. Now, I don't know what gave me the confidence to do that. Obviously, it's not going to be hard slaps. But I just started slapping her ass, enough to make a slapping sound, I guess. And I remember that she would just, every time that I would slap her, she would make a sound like one of those Japanese porn stars, just go, "Ay, ay," like that. And it was pretty awesome for me, and I enjoyed it a lot. And so eventually, grabbing her tits, grabbing her ass, slapping her ass, and eventually just led up to me having a pretty great orgasm. And after everything was said and done, we still had a little bit more time, so we just talk a little bit more, and just always very pleasant. I thanked her, she thanked me, and then that was it. I was on my way, and that was probably one of the happier experiences that I can remember. And that woman was very, very, very nice. So unfortunately, I never repeated her. I think there's only been one girl that I've repeated. Every other time it's just been a one-off. So unfortunately, that was the case for this girl. I mean, I would see her again today if I could. She was great. But God knows where she was. Like I said, the place has since closed, and it's so difficult to keep tabs on providers if they, if you don't know specifically their personal phone number or anything like that. And of course, you don't want to be creepy and stalk anybody. So it was a great experience. I really enjoyed it. Now, about the Hiyako, well, I should say about that place. Uh, there were other things that happened to me during that time, which was very weird. Every time I went there, there was like a catastrophe in my personal life. But that's something for another time. Anyway, that was another time with a prostitute at the same place. And yeah, plenty of other stories to come. See you.